What's up, everyone? Dimebot here. Welcome back to Flight Sim and Favorite Places to Fly. Now, just disclaimer right out of the gate, I have looked up these pronunciations and I am still going to screw them up because Swedish is not my first language, but I am trying, so go easy on me in the comments. Today we're going to be checking out Lake Malaren, which is the third largest freshwater lake in Sweden. It's huge, and I think once we start talking about how big it is and where it reaches to, how narrow and kind of stretched that is, you guys will see why I wanted to check it out. It's crazy looking on the map. Looks like it should be a really fun flight, so let's go ahead and get in the air. Alright, let's get rolling here. Got ourselves a grass strip. Should be able to rotate with no problems here. Quite the horrible noise coming off the gear, though. There we go. I'll go ahead and just climb and get some altitude. Pull up the EFB right away, which I normally don't do, but I want you guys to see this lake. And it's a little harder to see than I wanted on here. Let's see if we can filter to just default. There we are. That's better. You can see just the absolutely massive size of this lake. Got some boat traffic down there. Go ahead and pull the flaps on in. So Stockholm is over in this direction, and this lake does have a bay that reaches all the way to Stockholm. It is 1,440 kilometers squared. That's 440 square miles. Now, to those of us that live in the U.S., we think, well, the Great Lakes are a lot bigger than that. This is a massive lake. Don't get it wrong. Greatest depth is 64 meters or 210 feet, but overall it's actually a pretty shallow lake. So it spans 74.6 miles from east to west, drains southwest and northeast into the Baltic Sea. So it has natural outlets as well as a canal. And several very large islands. You have two, I am not going to try to pronounce these, that are 35.1 square miles and 30.5 square miles. You also have Drottningham Palace on an island in the lake. And as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. It reminds me a little bit of some areas in Canada, which are covered in lakes. Also a little bit of the Outer Hebrides, which we just did the other day, except much, much greener. And this is an old area. There are several Viking-age settlements on two of the islands that are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Have been since 1993. And the Barrow of Bjorn Ironside is on the island of Munso within the lake. I'm sure I screwed that up, but I'm doing the best I can here. As I said, this is the third largest freshwater lake in Sweden. There are two that are larger. That is a throttle warning. I pulled her back a little too much there. Alright, let's come back around. So, as you might have expected, this is the result of glaciers. In the Viking Age, it was actually still a bay of the Baltic Sea. You could actually sail up it into the interior of Sweden. The post-glacial rebound, which is where the Earth rises again after the removal of all the weight of a glacier, has changed that. And there is also some interesting mythology around the origin of this lake. It is said that it was created by the goddess. I am not trying to say these. I look at my own notes. It's created when a goddess challenged a Swedish king that he promised her as much land as 4 ox could plow in a day and night, but she used oxen from the land of giants and uprooted the land and dragged it into the sea, where it became the island of Zealand. So that is the mythology behind the creation of the lake. You will see a lot of boat traffic down there below us. The island also significant because of crayfish. Crayfish are a big thing in Sweden, with crayfish parties being a tradition for many Swedes. So, this was the first lake to be affected by the crayfish plague. And they have brought in North American signal crayfish to try to bolster the population, but those are kind of pushing out the native noble crayfish. So, now it is illegal to farm, move, or otherwise do anything with the signal crayfish in this lake as they try to bring back the noble crayfish. Who knew that crayfish could be so important to such a lake this large? Some broken clouds here. Let's just drop down. As you can see, pretty good population along the shores of the lake. There are several bridges that span it as well. It is a absolutely beautiful flight. And with Stockholm nearby and plenty of other places to fly to, you could definitely take off from other airports around here, not the dirt strip that I did, and have a look, head to other places in Northern Europe. So, a really interesting place to get a flight started, and obviously a great place to bring some type of float plane. However, that is going to do it for me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. If you really enjoyed my work, consider becoming a channel member. And if you're here to the end, watch time is key on YouTube, so thank you so much for that. My name is Dimebot. I'll see you guys next time.